Lila Rose is a feminist nag who has no business telling men what to do when it comes to pornography.
Lila Rose has finally been told to shut the F up, because men will not be nagged.
The return of Taffy, yes.
This is going well already.
Oh, this is gonna be a fun one. Well, all right. Well, right off the bat, I do want to say we're not like taking
Right
shots
off the
at
bat,
Michael
he's
Mann.
apologizing.
Yeah, like
That's
we're
like
not... Listen, it was a slow news day. I was looking for stuff all day to talk about, and I'm like, yeah, I think we have to go with this. And look, this is the conversation that's happening online right now. It's one of them. I mean, there are several, but the conversation about the proper place for men and women, the proper understanding of what it means to be a traditional Catholic. There's a lot of things going on. So we figured we'd add our commentary to the mix. And Ant wonders why people don't want to. No. I'll tell you right now, Molly. I played nice with all these people. They don't want to talk to me. And now the gloves are off. I don't know. It's not really what's happening. Yeah, but they've been keeping us out of the conversation. They want to act like we don't exist. So what to tell you?
Yeah.
No, right off the bat, I will actually say that Michael Matt is obviously a legend in the Catholic commentary world. He's probably part of the reason we're able to do this. Like he's owed a ton of respect.
I mean, his family going back generations.
I mean, he is owed a ton of respect. So this stream is not meant to denigrate him in any way. It's not meant to take shots at him. It's just a conversation that went on Twitter, and he addressed it on his show. And I kind of want to address some of the points he brought up and see if, because you just see the two generations talking past each other. You see the older guys, like Gen X and the boomers, are not understanding the conversation and where Gen Z and younger millennials are coming from. And Rob and I find ourselves kind of in the middle of that. And I tend to see both sides. And, I just think that there's a way to have this conversation without it being insulting to anybody when I watched Michael Matt, and I watch almost every episode of The Remnant, but when I watched this week's episode,
without being insulting, did you see the intro we just played?
Oh, you guys can't laugh at you have no business doing this. I mean, honestly, if you can't see a goofy video where somebody's teasing you a little bit, then you shouldn't be in the public spotlight. I don't know, but yeah, I watch pretty much every Remnant video. I always have, like, for years. But this one just seemed a little out of touch, and I thought Michael Matt was strawmanning the younger guy's position. And he was making it like this is a rad trad, a young rad trad thing. And I don't think that's what it is at all. I think it's a younger generation that is just
making what a young rad.
You know what? We'll just have to play the video and get into it so you actually understand the context. But it seems like the conversation around Lila Rose talking about pornography to men, and there's a lot of chaos around this issue. Like, the younger guys are like, why don't you just shut up and not say anything about this? And the older guys are like, well, she's saying something good. This is good. If Michael Matt says in the video, he says, if Kamala Harris came out and said something against abortion, I would applaud her. But there's context to that. So I think we should just get into playing the video. We won't string this out. But one thing we haven't promoted in a long time is Angela says happy birthday to you, Rob. But we haven't promoted the
thank you,
the merch store in a very long time. Rob's birthday was yesterday.
We never even brought up all the Vatican First hats I made.
Vatican First. We have you accepted Mary as your personal mother and intercessor? We got a lot of stuff over there.
Let me bring it all up real quick.
Yeah, if you guys want to help support the show, the merch store is a great way to do that. We also have Recusant Cellars. Use code BASED, BASED, at checkout for 10% off. Recusant Cellars is a winery out in Washington State. They are huge supporters of our show. We're very grateful to them. Wonderful Catholic family. And the only people willing to sponsor our content, apparently. For now, at least.
For now.
But But for a lot of people don't realize how difficult, like it's one thing to have a YouTube show and have a, you know, a podcast and things like that. It's a very different thing to actually make money doing this. But me and Rob actually have some news that we'll discuss over on Locals about that. But yeah, it's kind of tricky to turn this thing into anything. So getting a sponsor is a huge part of that. If you guys can, go support Reckies Sellers. You use code BASED at checkout for 10% off. Let them know that we sent you over there. They're awesome business. And then our merch store, it's got some pretty cool stuff if you guys want to.
Let's see here. The newest stuff are
Newest
Vatican First hats that came from that. I forget who put out the meme, but
yeah, somebody was pointing out that all like all the most consequential commentators in the political world
Candace,
are all Catholic.
Walsh,
Knowles,
Fuentes,
yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Everybody's Catholic. It's like Jack Posobiec. Everybody's Catholic. So we were just pointing out that yes, we're all Vatican First.
Then here's the OG.
That's basically our flagship shirt. That is a tweet that I sent out that went insanely viral and infuriated the Protestants. It's a great conversation starter. So, all right, let's get into Michael Matt. Michael Matt addressing the controversy around Lila Rose discussing pornography with men in the public sphere. And he was not happy about the reaction he got to one of his tweets. So we'll play a little bit of it. We'll pause it. It's a very long clip. I don't know how much of it we'll get to. And then we got a lot of fun stuff for Locals tonight.
They should and shouldn't do. And as I've said before, any woman that tells men what to do is a feminist.
Now, this story exploded. I just weighed in on X this week, and I couldn't believe it because, I mean, Lila Rose obviously is right. She says about pornography. And Lila Rose is no traditionalist, so I don't have a dog in this fight. That's what I'm talking about. This polarization, this tribalism has got to stop. Okay, people say, I don't like Lila Rose. And I say, you know what? If Kamala Harris, had said something against pornography or against abortion, I would praise her for it. And I would quote her and I would say she's right. Okay. So the tribalism, first of all, has got to stop. But what Lila Rose is a Catholic, what she said is objectively true, friends. And here's where the story to me is the fallout, what happened after this little interview that we just showed you. I weighed in and defended her on X thinking, well, everybody's going to, right? No, not so. In fact, I was kind of, you could check it out on my Twitter feed. I was lambasted by a bunch of guys, I guess Nick Fuentes types or fans, right? Who are absolutely thrilled that Lila Rose has finally been told to shut the F up. Yes, I'm quoting. That's what they're saying. You can see it in the thread, even on my X feed, right? Many of these guys claim to be traditional Catholics, and I'm astonished. Totally astonished. They'd like to call me a boomer for this, and that's fine. I'm not a boomer, but I'm an older guy, and yeah, this is horrifying. This is horrifying.
Okay,
the reaction to what happened to Lila Rose on the part of people claiming.
All right, so now if Kamala Harris had said something positive on abortion or against pornography, yes, we would all like praise that. That's a fair point. But I think Michael is missing the context of the Lila situation because and this isn't a traditionalist point of view. It's younger guys who are just kind of sick of feminism in all its forms.
Mm-hmm.
And there are two sides to this also, so I will give the other side. But there's something deeper about this conversation that goes to modesty. Like it's more. It's less that Lila, like, because what Lila is saying may objectively be true, but the issue here is that we don't think it's appropriate for women to be discussing porn in any context with men, like
especially publicly,
right? It's different if it's in her home with her sons or her husband. That's a totally different thing. But for her to be addressing this publicly in a public forum, it's just highly immodest and inappropriate. And there's a deeper thing that's happening in our culture right now where young men are just kind of tired of women putting themselves in a position where they're constantly haranguing men. Like it's
especially a bad look after the near pornification of Father Mike Schmitz on Lila Rose's own show.
Yeah. And look, I'm also going to say, like, there's something about the way we're all like having this conversation that probably does need to be toned down a little bit. Like we're just losing our crap, and we're all just so sick of the girl boss that it's coming out in bad ways. And I say that because I cut a black woman off in Queens today. Like I was driving my car.
You almost lost your life.
Lila has a bad track record, examining Father Schmitz, hippie neck. George Floyd. So I cut a black woman off when I was driving in Queens today, and she was irate, and she comes around and catches up to me at the light, and she's like ready to flip out on me. And I roll the window down, and I was like, "Miss, you're 100% right. I apologize. I was not paying attention, and last minute I saw my GPS and I turned." I disarmed this woman so much just by the way I was apologetic and didn't fight back, and because I could have just been like, "Shut up, but I was very nice to her and totally disarmed her. And she was like, "I'm sorry, honey." She just was like, I know I won't do my black woman impression, but she was.
For anyone who was in North Carolina with us, they all know black women have a thing for you.
Yeah, I do have a way with black women. But so yeah, there may be a way in which we're handling this conversation. It's a little out of control, but I think it's because the younger guys are just so fed up with it. But Lila does have a track record. She has a history. Look, they're looking at a woman who didn't take her husband's last name. She's out there talking about how first wave feminism was good. Mm-hmm. And if it wasn't for first wave feminism, women couldn't be on these podcasts talking about abortion in the first place. And it's like, a lot of this does go to the older generation kind of allowing this stuff to happen, right? And it's, they never had the fortitude to tell women, "Hey, you don't belong in this position." This is why women run every parish. It comes that like, so I actually tweeted at Michael. I said, "Michael, how can you be against altar girls, but then be for the girl boss podcast or telling men to do this?" Like, it's the same thing. Yeah. It's literally the same thing.
Like that that tweet about the Jewish woman who's one of the big reasons why women don't veil in church these days.
I actually threw that tweet because I didn't know the history of that. We could get into that. We'll finish the Michael Mass stuff and then we'll get into that, because that's actually a really interesting topic. I did not know all of that. Just the history of women no longer veiling in church was this movement started by a Jewish woman.
Yeah, it's not that the church decided it was no longer needed. It was a feminist revolution, and it was in canon law until 1983. So,
and all of it is about overthrowing the patriarchy. And you look at someone like not just Lila, but the other girl who runs the Students for Life thing. Like we're looking at Hawkins. We're looking at these two women who are making $500,000 a year each. Their husbands stay home and take care of the kids and homeschool them while they're off earning the living. And we're just like
very proud of that, actually.
And we're just like beside ourselves. And it has to do with the older generation never speaking up and not having the fortitude to tell women they don't belong in these positions. So, I agree with Michael Matt in that what Lila Rose is saying is not untrue. Like, she's saying true things there, but it's decorum. Is it your place? Is it, I think it was, Mike Pantile said women even saying the word pornography in public could be a near occasion of sin for men. Like, it just, it titillates their mind. And, especially a guy struggling with this stuff. So it's just scandalous in general for women to be discussing this topic online. And like you said, that last conversation that we did criticize Lila for, it was her and the girl that was on her show, and they're calling Father Mike Schmitz Father what a waste, basically. I mean, they didn't say that literally, but they were basically like talking about how hot Father Mike Schmitz is. And it's like they even like the objectification of like a handsome priest even. And our culture is just so rotten at this point that it's gotten vulgar online, especially on X. X is probably the most toxic place to hold these conversations. That's why I thought it might be better to have this conversation on here. But all right, let's play a little more of Michael Matt. We'll see if there's some more stuff we can pick apart.
To be traditional, I'm going to call them neo-trads, by the way, neo-rad trads, whatever. Bragging now about how they tell their women to shut their mouths because men will not be nagged. Again, I'm quoting, nagged. I can be nagged about anything, even porn use, they say. Now, when you do that, friends, obviously you are running the risk. If you're going to go after Lila Rose here because she's nagging you about your porn or about porn, you run the risk of people naturally assuming, well, you don't have that much of a problem with porn then, because your issue is obviously much more with nagging women, right?
Yeah, mine is.
You can see the pornification of society is
What?
Like, I don't have any issues with porn, but I'm really bothered by nagging women. I don't know. I mean, I'm just being honest. I really dislike nagging women. They're annoying.
Well, hold on. No, hold on. You are missing an exception that you actually love.
That's not how Catholicism works. Who are you? Who do you think you are? That you're just.
And she's been mentioning us on her show.
Well, because that one guy's been coming after us too.
Yeah, all right, we'll play a little more. I think I missed something in there that I was going to say something about, but I kind of forgot what he said. But
Want me to back it up a little?
yeah, back it up like 10 seconds.
naturally assuming, well, you don't have that much of a problem with porn then, because your issue is obviously
right there.
Obviously, you are running the risk if you're going to go after Lila Rose here because she's nagging you about your porn or about porn. You run the risk of people naturally assuming, well, you don't have that much of a problem with porn then, because your issue is obviously much more with nagging women, right? You can see the pornification of society is reaching far corners. It's reaching everywhere now, you know? So I see this unfold and I'm like, what? What's going on? Again, Lila Rose is no friend of mine. She's no traditional Catholic. But I think she was 15 years old when she started devoting her entire life to saving babies. I think she deserves a little respect, don't you?
No.
These little neo-trad guys, they sided with the creature who was beating up on Lila. And Lila Rose can take it. Didn't need to defend her.
That's,
but it was just so
real quick. Like, okay, so look, even me, like, I'm not siding with Pearl. Like,
no,
Pearl,
we despise that woman.
Pearl is the worst. She's obnoxious. She's annoying, but she's the only woman who calls other women to account. And the whole thing is, you're constantly yeah, she's devoted her entire life to driving Alexa.
It's not like she's suffering, guys.
This whole conversation is more about, like, first off, no man is going to stop watching it because Lila said to. Like, she it's not like she's inspiring men to give it up. It's just, it's not helpful at all. It's really just not. And
she really wants to fight against porn. She should really be lecturing women about their porn use, on their reading of smut. Like, come on,
and getting into the industry itself.
And
like,
getting into the industry, yeah.
Getting into the industry itself. So it's more like, we just want the proper roles for men and women again. And they're so out of whack right now that, so I put up something before just asking who's responsible for the fall, Adam or Eve. And the reason I was doing that is because you'll see it's because this is a trad issue, because it comes down to when the church after the council, the church dropped its guard on feminism, and John Paul II started talking about the feminine genius. They started allowing altar girls to come in, and all this stuff started happening. And it like the mutual submission thing comes into the equation, and mutual submission is from the pit of hell. And the people who push mutual submission will also be the people who say Adam is the reason that Eve ate the apple, because Adam should have protected Eve from the serpent even coming in. So they recognize that Adam did have the authority to guard the garden and protect his wife. Like, that is actually Adam's role. He should have never allowed his wife to even speak to the serpent, but they'll blame Adam for that and then still blame him for the fall. Like, and then still say, like, Eve, he didn't have the authority to tell Eve what to do. it's a really strange thing that happens. Like men have to take all the blame in all the situations, and women are never held to account for anything. So it's like you either have to say, yeah, well, Eve ate the apple first, or whatever, the pomegranate first, so it's her fault, or you have to admit that no, Adam actually did have the authority to put an end to that. Like he should have never allowed this to happen in the first place. And the men who talk about mutual submission are so disordered, because what they're actually saying is they are shirking their responsibility as a man, and they don't want the blame. They want their wife to take some of the blame when things go wrong. And it's not okay. Like if you have a husband who talks like that means he's afraid to embrace the authority that God has given him as a man. And men should tremble at the authority God has given us, because it is a very big responsibility. And if you're out there allowing your wife to take part in managing, like having authority in your home, you're actually saying, well, I don't want the blame when things go wrong. It's a shirking of your responsibility. So all of this comes down to this. And I think the younger guys are just like, all right, things are so out of whack. We're looking online and we're seeing the way these women are. You're looking at the girl, I forgot her name, but whatever. She goes to an Orthodox church, and she's
Morgan Ariel.
Yeah, Morgan Ariel. She's dressed appropriately. She goes to an Orthodox church, but she has to take the selfie with her in it. And guys are seeing this, and they're just like, you are such a narcissist. Like, you could have just taken a picture of the icon, but you have to put yourself in it.
It's that meme, right? The meme of guys sharing a photo of what they want to show people, and it's just the item, and then women sharing a photo of what they show people, and their faces right in it. Yeah,
it's really something that I think women need to talk to other women about. Like, if you go somewhere beautiful, take a picture of the beautiful thing. You don't need to be in the picture with the beautiful thing, because it does just come off as narcissism. And I think, there's always going to be the simps who are like, oh, you're so beautiful. And I think for a lot of guys who are beyond that stuff, we just look at it and we're just like, ew, like you're just craving this fake affirmation from likes and stuff like that. And it's like, just if you're on a journey and you're heading to an Orthodox or a Catholic church and you're thinking about deepening your faith, don't tell the world about it. Like, do your journey and do it and figure it out. And when you get to that point, maybe then you could talk about it. But like, oh, I visited an Orthodox church. Look at me, everybody. I'm on a journey. It's like, it's just, I think everybody's just so done with the narcissism. I'll say, I cannot warn men enough against you younger guys who are dating. Like, if you date a woman who's a social media influencer, you're insane. And I say that as a guy that's doing this stuff. Like, it's like if you have a wife, because all you see is this constant thing where women are embarrassing their spouse online, saying things they shouldn't say about their husband, revealing intimate details of their marriage. And it's just, I think the party's over. That's all I'm saying. And I just think Michael Matt is missing the wider context of what these younger guys are growing up in. They're growing up in a world where these are the only women they're having contact with, because people don't go out and meet people in person anymore. The only interactions they're having are these interactions that are online. And this behavior just gets so grating to these guys. And they want to see modesty. Like, modesty is so attractive now because it's so rare. So I think the point on Lila
modesty is about more than just what you're wearing.
Yeah. It's that we constantly hear these women talking about how men need to be more Christ-like, and none of them act more Mary-like. It's like this thing where men get the blame for everything, and it's totally fine for the, like, I don't know. I think we're just at a cultural moment where we all have to look at the things we've allowed to happen under our watch, and especially us older guys, and we have to go, okay, yeah, maybe we should have told our wives no, or told our whatever women in our lives no, they can't do this, because this thing has gotten so out of control at this point. Yeah. And honestly, like the berating that Lila gets online, like that alone makes me look at her husband like, what kind of man are you? Like, you allow your wife to take this kind of abuse online? Like, that in itself is emasculating for her husband. I don't care. Like there is no scenario where I would let my wife be abused by strange men on the internet like that and not intervene and take her phone away. It's just like, what are you doing as a man? This is the exact scenario of Adam not protecting his wife from the serpent. Lila is on the internet and the serpents are coming at her and she keeps doing it and feeding into it. And her husband doesn't put his stupid foot down and say, knock it off, because he loves the money too much. It's just, you know, so we'll keep playing. We'll play. We will get the super chats. Just I want to get through all this and then we'll get to everything. But yeah, look, like Nicole's saying, like you for the women who think that we're just being like macho, it's like, don't envy the burden men carry as husbands and fathers. It's not an easy one. It really isn't. And like you talk about working at your salvation in fear and trembling. You are responsible for every soul in your home as a man. You are the priest of your home. That is not a light calling. That is not a light vocation. That has huge consequences. It's and you just see these women that have these positions as social media influencers, especially the Catholic ones, and you just think to yourself, like, what? Like, how do you sit back? Like she's the one that's online. She doesn't take his last name. He's not even allowed to have a social media profile. Could you imagine what they would do to that man? It's the same thing with religious hippie's husband. Like, he can't even be online because they'll massacre him. That poor guy. I feel bad for the husbands. At the same time, I'm just like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Can't pity them too much. They're failing in their own responsibilities.
All right, let's keep going with this.
Horrific to see this. She was beaten up and mocking Lila Rose.
Yeah.
She ends up muting Lila Rose and then laughing at Lila Rose like some 14.
First off, that was our move first.
We invented the mute.
Yeah, come on now.
Pearl stole a bit from us. That's our bit.
Year-old brat watching Beavis and Butthead.
It's again.
Pearl, can you hear me right now?
Signaling.
Pearl, are you listening? Can you hear me? Okay.
I do hear you.
If you continue to mute me, I don't even know when you're muting me or not. I'm not going to be able to have a conversation with you. I don't think you're acting in good faith right now. So I'm gonna have to end the stream with you if you're going to continue to mute me.
Come on, Michael. It's funny. Come on. I don't mean
so I thought,
right.
what am I missing here? You know? So I went over to this Laughing Trolls website and I found
Pearl's atrocious.
You know, stuff that would just have made all of us blush, you know, even back in the 80s. A lot of dirty talk, you know, this woman behaving just crass behavior, troll advice for men to divorce their fat wives and find sweet young things, sweet young honeys to go after, you know what I'm saying. But according to the neo-trads, Lila Rose is the one who needs to shut up and stop nagging us dudes. So does this woman also need to shut up and stop nagging us dudes?
Yes.
But
yes,
for just a brief moment, I would like to speak directly to the men.
What?
I don't know. He's talking about this one. I think he meant Pearl. Yes, Pearl needs to shut up. But all right, who's this?
I have no idea. Do you want me to play it?
Yeah, let's play it. Let's.
Wait,
he asked the question. He said, should we tell this woman to shut up? Let's hear what she says.
Thing that is never done. Men, you are made for greatness. You are made to stand up and be men. You are made to defend women and children, not stand by and turn your head when you know murder is occurring and do nothing about it. You are not made to use women and leave us alone.
Pause it. Yeah, like everything she's saying is true. This message should just be coming from a man.
I say it just rings so empty from a woman. I just don't care.
It should just be coming from a man. I'm sorry.
Coming from a guy, I mean, it would have you all pumped up. You'd be ready.
Like this message should be coming. We're like there's because you have to take into account the absolute lack of accountability that women hold each other to. I'm not saying all women, but like the women in these positions, because I do know some very good women who clearly do look out for other women. Like I'm not saying all women. I'm talking about these women specifically who are in the public eye like this. They're constantly talking about how it's men's fault, and they never hold one another to account. They just don't. They don't. It's like, and anytime they try to, because I did see one or two women try to actually address it and say something. I think it was I forgot her name, Jay something, but
women raise boys, but men raise men. That's kind of the whole point.
But also a woman does have that authority over her boys, though. Yeah. Right? Like, it's a very different thing. Like a woman, a mother in her home, absolutely. Yes. Like, you should say this to your boys at home. 100%.
But it will mean more coming from their father.
But it will, but that is absolutely within your authority to talk to your children, your boys about this. That's a very different thing than what we're talking about here. It's whenever women try to hold other women to account, you will get other women in the comments blaming men.
Mm-hmm.
It's bizarre. They'll, like, if a woman tries to say women don't get involved in OnlyFans, this is a disgusting industry, whatever, you'll get 100 women underneath going, yes, but if men didn't consume this content, women wouldn't be tempted to go towards it. It's only because men buy it that we are doing it. It's like, there's just no place where women hold women to account, and now men are not holding men to account. Men are only attacking women. Like, this whole culture is so upside down right now. Everything is just upside down right now.
Look at all the trouble 2 women podcasters cause, guys. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's just, and they're fighting and arguing with random men they don't know on the internet instead of being home. Like, go home. Be home with your family. Let your husband handle these battles. I'm sorry. They're just, and the thing is, the trads are the worst about this. Like, they really are the worst about this. I'm telling you, I go to trad parishes, and the men in these trad parishes, they're more henpecked than any men I see. They're afraid of their wives.
Mm-hmm.
This ultimately doesn't really come down to Lila. This ultimately comes down to husbands allowing their wives to do this stuff. Right? It's like, and Michael, Matt, I'm calling you out. I didn't make this show about Lila. I made this show about you, because you are excusing this stuff. Like, men have to stop excusing this stuff. And that's the ultimate point of this whole thing. So these young guys are going nuts about this, but why are we as men not trying to fix the problem at the root of the problem, which is women are trying to be men, and they can't be. Men need to be men. Women need to be women. We should be encouraging women to be more feminine and men to be more masculine. And instead, we're allowing women to run the pro-life movement. We're allowing women to run our parishes. We're allowing women to run everything. And we're all just like,
and everything is falling apart.
You said something true, and the whole world is collapsing around us.
The church is falling apart. The pro-life movement is in shambles.
Rob, the church itself, at the heart of the issue, is men, priests who are supposed to be priests of souls, are afraid to say no to women. It is why you have every Susan from the parish council. It's why you have altar girls up in the sanctuary. It's why when you try calling a parish to go set an appointment for confession, the girl in the office, the secretary in the office will tell you, oh, no, you have to come at the right time. It's like, this is the problem. The root of the problem is men not being men and allowing women, because they're afraid to say no, because men, just like Adam, wanted to please his wife, this innate desire to please women. Oh my gosh, I can't say no to them. It's just leading to the collapse of our culture.
Very true.
It's the Catholic Longhouse are filled with men afraid to say this stuff about the women in the movement. Like, it's really what it comes down to. This is what the Catholic Longhouse is. The Catholic Longhouse is a bunch of men who are just operating at the whim of the women who allow them to. And they don't say anything because they want to go on Lila Rose's podcast. And it's like there's something so freeing about what we do, and that all of them gate kept us out, and now we can speak about what we want. Good.
We don't ever have to worry about it.
I'm never gonna get asked to speak at a remnant conference. I would have, but now I'm not going to be. And I love Michael Matt. That's not even the issue. It's just we need to be willing to be not liked. You need to be willing to not be the nice guy sometimes, to just speak hard truths at times. This stuff is getting out of control.
You got to move beyond wanting human respect. This is what it comes down to.
And look, so much of like the conversation around us being uncharitable, because everybody accuses us of being uncharitable. Like, I don't think we're being uncharitable right now. So much of it is like, as a Catholic, you're not allowed to say something about another Catholic. And it's like, that's how the freaking priest crisis happened.
Yeah.
It really, I mean, this is way less of a degree, but so much of it is people not wanting the Catholics to look bad because, oh, it looks like there's infighting going on. It's like we are in a war, in a civil war in the church right now. We're in a civil war in the church right now for the movement because we're all we have no fathers that actually want to be fathers. We're dealing with a bunch of men in the hierarchy, and our priests are all afraid to say the truth that women need to stop and let men run things. Jesus chose 12 men as apostles for a reason. Jesus, like, men follow men. They don't follow women. We don't want a Marjorie Taylor Greene in office. We don't want a Lauren Boebert in office. Like, this stuff has to stop. And it's like, it's just led to the ruin of society. We're done with it. So yes, we're going to call Lila Rose out when she's nagging men about watching porn. Like, go talk to the women about this stuff, because they're all reading 50 Shades of Grey, and that's more toxic than the crap men are looking at online. See if he's got a little more in there.
At least men are ashamed of it when they do it.
Yes, where women
will brag about it.
Women are bragging that they're watching 50 Shades of Grey and fantasizing about another man when they're with their husband. It's insane. Where you're right. Like, men at least understand deep down, like, this is horrific. God forbid anybody ever found out I'm doing this. They
90%
understand
of the men doing it don't need to be told it's bad. They know.
They know. They just
in their heart.
They just need some inspiration to get out of it. They need another man to help talk to them about, hey, this is how I got out of it, things like that. But having some broad come on and tell us, you shouldn't be, man, just shut up. Yes, tell Lila Rose to shut the F up. Like, Lila, you can go talk to women about something, because there is a conversation around, like, what 50 Shades is tame compared to what's trending on women's book talk.
I mean, remember that book Mark found on Amazon? The saber-tooth dentist ghost rapist guy or whatever?
Because these women are fantasizing about some of the most heinous stuff. It's really heinous stuff. Like, it's all abuse stuff. Like, it's crazy what these women are looking at. You think it's bad on the men's side. It is bad on the men's side. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's such a toxic thing. And for any guys that are watching, like, the freedom that comes when that's out of your life and you're not even thinking, because it's like any addiction where you get it out for a long enough period of time, you don't even think about it, and you're just free of it. And it's an amazing feeling to not have that
weight,
that thing hanging on you, and just dread the corpse of a dead soul dragging you down. It's really is. So, like, I mean, it does need to be talked about. It just needs to be talked about by men to men and women to women, and that's just the proper role for this conversation to happen. Feminism was the first sin. No, not even. Feminism was the first sin, but really it was Adam not being a man, like Adam being afraid to say things like this. And I refuse to do that. I'd rather be cast out from the Catholic content arena where people won't talk to. I don't care. I'm not going to not talk about this, because this is like the root of everything. It really is. And there's the only way to fix it is to confront the issue and talk about it and get and police our own, and tell the Catholic women that are doing this stuff, like, you are meant to lead the culture in what femininity looks like. So going out and being the girl boss is not the way to fix it. You're just creating Catholic feminists. What good is that? like, I really do think Lila Rose is more dangerous for girls to listen to than Pearl.
Yeah.
Because Lila's feeding you this
with
false...
Pearl, women will realize the issues there. But
Yeah,
Lila's more subtle.
That's it. And it's
More
this
devious.
every conservative woman that you see that's public presents herself as a conservative Christian, and they're all feminists, every single one of them. And I'll say this, there's no chance Michael Matt would let his wife publicly speak to men about this issue.
I would hope
Never
not.
would he allow. No, I know he wouldn't. So it's like, well, I would never let my wife do it, but I'll, when this other guy's wife does it, it's totally fine. No, it's not. Like, I would never, ever, I would be horrified if my wife was talking to men about this issue. Like, this is horribly immodest. What are you doing? Would never happen. Let's see what else he says.
Do you want me to play more?
Yeah. We'll go through it, because after this, I want to play the Greek Orthodox priest talking about if the Catholic Church had maintained momentum from 1890 to 1960, we would be a Roman Catholic nation. And and we'll go to that next. And this ties into this, because all of this is about the church letting women take the lead. It's mutual submission. It's this idea that men and women both have authority, and the man should they should co-govern together. And that's literally the problem with the hierarchy and the laity right now, with synodality, right? It's the hierarchy who's supposed to be in charge, telling people what to do, going, we need to listen to the laity. Let's have synodality. No, this is mutual submission, and it's distorted, and it is ripping the church apart right now.
Yeah.
And if you don't see that, you're really missing what the crisis is about, because this really is the root of everything. It's the priests at the parish afraid to tell the women, hey, shut up. We're not playing that crappy song. We're going to play Gregorian chant. We're going to have kneelers. We're going to have it's our bishops, our priests. It's every single man afraid to tell women no, when they're supposed to. I'm not saying just go around telling women no, but there's a time where it needs to be done. And when it's supposed to be done and men don't do it, you are going to face the wrath of God for every time you were supposed to be a man and you shirked your responsibility. Go ahead, we'll play a few more minutes.
You are made to be kind and great and gracious and strong and stand for something. Because men, listen to me. I am too tired to do your job.
Oh, then don't.
What about St. Catherine of Siena? Was she nagging Pope Gregory when she admonished him, saying, quote, since God has given you authority and you have assumed it, you should use your virtue and power. And if you are not willing to use it, it would be better for you to resign. Was she nagging?
Michael, do you know the irony of the quote you just posted? Do you not hear the irony of the quote you just posted?
Mm-hmm.
She's privately speaking to the Pope, first off. Like, it is a private correspondence. But the Pope was afraid to use his authority. And if you won't use it, it would be better for you to resign. Michael, if you are unafraid to discuss this issue realistically, it would be better that you resign. Because this is the heart of the issue. We're dealing with Pope Leo appointing women to dicasteries now. This is the problem. I don't know how much more I can, because even the most patriarchal homes that we have in our culture now. Yeah, that's the other thing. Lila Rose is not St. Catherine. Like, that's like seriously.
In these arguments, there's only like 3 women they can ever bring up. Say St. Catherine of Siena, St. Joan of Arc. Notice how they never bring up the Blessed Virgin, because they can't.
No, but man, but even the most patriarchal homes that we know, like, we're all infected with feminism. My family is infected with all of us are infected with feminism, so much so that we don't even notice it when it's happening.
It's endemic in society. You can't.
It's just everywhere, and it's just everywhere. And I'm telling you, like, it's a really difficult issue for those of us raising girls and and trying to govern our homes when the men who are supposed to be the leaders of this thing won't speak out and speak truthfully about this issue. Catherine said, use your authority. Lila is saying, give me the authority. 100%. This is it's just men afraid to tell women no. It's what it comes down to. I mean, it's everything that's going on right now. So should we keep going with it? I mean, let's keep going with it. We'll give it a few more minutes.
Okay.
Give it a few more minutes.
What are there, Walter? There are 4 women doctors of the church. There's one judge, is an Israelite judge, Judith, I believe.
He literally sounds like a
we can
Catholic
go on and
feminist
on to
right
St.
now.
Joan of Arc. I mean, are they all just a bunch of nags? Another nagging feminist? Does this woman also need to shut up and stop nagging us big tough guys?
We are at a pivotal time in history. The battle is at such a pitch and the stakes are so high. We're not looking just to be reformers. We are literally fighting for civilization. God has been dethroned, man has been enthroned, and society is descending into chaos. We must enthrone God in our hearts and in our homes.
Friends, I'm sorry if
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, but like you wouldn't let her come and give a conference on pornography to your remnant conference, right?
That's not what
Like,
Lila was
could
doing.
you imagine? Can you honestly imagine how off-putting it would be for that sister to come and speak to the conference about porn? Like it would be
when I was in CCD, right? And it was mostly taught by 2 old Benedictine nuns. When the subjects of, like the 6th and 9th commandments came up, the priest came in to talk to the men about those. They didn't let the nuns teach the guys about porn and masturbation.
it's like think about what the subject matter is, Michael. This matters.
Yeah, and he's using the exact same arguments as the people who want women priests. So it's really weird.
But the thing is, look, and I want to be fair to him because I understand the urge, the male urge to defend women, right? Like white knighting isn't a thing because it's like we're just starting to break open the simping thing, right? Like it's like this is a phenomenon where men are starting to realize, wait a minute, man, I have covered for women way too much and defended their honor because there's a distorted understanding of chivalry where you think it is your role to defend women's honor no matter what. It's like, yes, like you do want to defend women's, and that's why I'll say also we do need to be cautious in how we criticize these women too. Like it might be like a sick own or something like that when you're an anonymous account on Twitter, but in reality, like there's a way in which you don't want to lose your soul in talking about this stuff. So I mean, we're all guilty of it, but it's
yeah, you have to keep in mind people like Lila and your Susan at the parish council. They really do think they're helping the church. They really do.
And there has not been a man to correct them. And if a man corrected them and said, hey, look, this is actually a little inappropriate and out of bounds, don't cover that topic with men. Like, it's just as simple as that. Like a man needs to, instead of white knighting for her and coming in as her chivalrous defender, somebody who loves her should privately pull her aside and say, Lila, this is actually not right for you to be talking about publicly. I know the Twitter trolls are going at you, and I know, but first off, even that, like the trolls going at someone, that stuff gets to a person. Like that's not good for a person. So,
reason I blocked all the settings.
It's just not good to have that kind of ridicule coming at you 24/7, even if it's online and you could put your phone down, because we're all addicted to our phones and we're all tempted to look at the comments. And when you just see what it's doing is she's trolling with these conversations. She's getting a reaction. She's making money off of it. She's getting more attention for it. And it's distorting her view of men. Because now she thinks all Catholic men, like there's a serious misogyny problem in the Catholic male sphere when she's the one stirring this controversy. Like if you see you're getting that kind of reaction, how about a little self-reflection and go, okay, this is not being received well. Maybe I should back off of this a little bit. There's just no time where there's ever a woman being corrected and she takes any kind of accountability and goes, "Ooh, this was probably a bad look. Maybe I should take that video down of the snake oil salesman that I did." But no, they'll never any self-reflection. No, we found a priest who said it was okay. Oh, did you? You found a priest who said it was
Won't
okay.
say the name, of course.
Won't tell us the name of that priest, because that priest will catch hell for it. But yeah, X is definitely a hellhole. So it's
been a lot
look.
more fun now that we know where accounts are, though.
Yes, it is. Dude, how great is that? anytime somebody criticizes me, I just look right away. It's like, okay,
Yep.
You're from India, of course you are.
I have a meme ready to go if they are from India too.
It's like, all this time we thought sedevacantism was an American phenomenon. It turns out it's all Indian trolls. I'm only kidding, the Sedis. I'm just teasing you. Why don't we jump over to the Orthodox priest talking about Catholicism? And
do we want to do super chats?
Oh, you want to do super chats? Yeah, let's go through super chats.
Just on this subject, and then we can.
Yeah. Well, all of them, because somebody left a $50 super chat, so I want to make sure we get.
I know that's on this subject. So first off, what are we talking about with EMJ? What do you guys think?
I have a lot of things I want to talk to him about. So I've read Degenerate Moderns. I've read Logos Rising. So I want to definitely talk to him
all the way through Logos Rising.
I probably made it 3/4 of the way through. That's a long book.
Yeah,
man.
I made it like a little over halfway.
It's a long book, but I'll tell you, that was my first. The opening chapters of Logos Rising were the first fracturing of evolution for me.
Yeah.
It was like the first cracking of the facade on evolution for me.
Same.
So I want to talk to him about that. Definitely want to talk to him about Medjugorje. I mean, we're obviously going to cover the JQ, but I want to save that for later in the show. I want to cover those topics with him. I want to get into. I'm going to talk liturgy with him. I'm going to, I'm going to discuss some of the. I'm going to talk Nostra Aetate. I want to get into some stuff with him. I think it'll be a different interview than he's ever done, because we don't interview like most people do. Yes, we are doing locals tonight, Paul. At my hospital, have a lot of young resident doctors, 80% female. I think if women are so empowered and can work, it takes away from the incentive for the women to quit their job and stay home. Working class men have dignity that women should submit to. I mean, that's just obvious, right? Like the whole incentive structure is upside down in our culture, where I mean, like the epidemic of young men who can't get jobs because women are given these jobs, and it's going to lead to
preferentially given these jobs.
Yeah, but it's going to lead to there's nothing more dangerous than young men who can't get jobs, who can't buy homes, who can't start families. Like, you have a humongous population of that category right now in our country, and those are the men who go and start revolutions. I'm just telling you.
It is, yeah. This one wasn't a super chat, but it was very good. So.
Why didn't God bear the cross in a woman's body? Intentional or not, the crucifixion is quite symbolic of the self-sacrifice of men. Yeah, so like you add in, but that also the way Christ has been portrayed in contemporary art,
very feminine,
has distorted our view of him. Like this whole idea of the chosen Jesus, it presents Jesus as this hippie-like figure who's just gentle and never stern, and never masculine, and like putting his foot down about things. And there's a reason why you never see Christ laughing in the Gospels. Doesn't mean Christ never laughed in his real life. It's like there's a reason you don't ever see God's mirth in Scripture, and it's because it could be taken out of context or, put in a certain way. But when you read the Gospels, you see a very specific type of Christ. And then when he's portrayed in modern art or modern films, things like that, you get this very effeminate version of Christ who's just all mercy and no justice. And I think that's distorted a lot of our views. And that male urge to lay down your life as a sacrifice. And when you see a woman getting beat up online, yeah, there is this desire to, like, all right, guys, chill out. Come on. Why are you guys beating up on the girl? I get it. Like, I'm not even gonna, like, I know Michael Matt's motives are good, but it still comes down to this issue of allowing it to have gotten to this point. And It's because the church has completely dropped the ball. And while all these revolutions were taking place in the 60s, the hippie generation, when the sexual revolution was happening, the church should have come out and warned the culture about those things and talked about feminism and talked about communism and talked about all the sexual revolution. And instead it wanted to play footsie with the devil. And that's what the council did. It played footsie with the devil. And we see where that has led us. I mean, it's led to the craziness we're seeing in Rome now. And it's like every trad argument comes down to this stuff. Comes down to the church's approach to the Jews and the church's approach to women. That is where everything went wrong.
And feminism is largely influenced by the first group. So.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So, it's not nice to experience, but trolls and bullies do an important job telling people when they're behaving incorrectly. Blaming them is sometimes valid, but often you should take accountability. But that's the thing, right? You don't actually ever see women have any self-reflection on any of these things. I'm telling you right now, if I put something out and I get a lot of pushback, there's two ways I go about it. One is I'll think about it and go, all right, this was a bad take. Now, sometimes I won't take it down because I don't want it to be an act of cowardice and like, you know, it's almost
you
like
don't want to
you
whitewash it.
You made your bed, lie in it kind of thing, right? But it doesn't mean I don't regret posting it. It's more just I don't want to be a coward and pretend I didn't say what I said. So it's an accountability thing. But there's never a time where I get a lot of pushback on something where I don't reflect on it. There's never a time where a friend calls me and tells me, hey, man, I didn't really like your take on this, where I don't go, okay, I'm open to fraternal correction here because I don't think my friend would call me if there wasn't, you know, a justified reason. Eric Sammons did that with me recently, and I had a good back and forth with him. It happens, right? But I don't see that happening on women's side of things.
To be fair, you had a locals crash out first.
Yeah,
but man, that was good.
It was a fun episode. If you missed that one, kids.
Okay, so what are we going?
All right, so let's go into the Orthodox priest real quick, and then we're going over to locals. I got a lot of stuff.
Where
to talk
did you
about
send that
locals.
video? Telegram?
It's in the Twitter thing. I never sent it over to Telegram. Yeah, don't watch Lila or Pearl. Don't watch either one of them.
Okay.
It's funny because I've held off on weighing in on the Michael Matt Trad Inc. thing for so long, right?
And this
like,
was it.
It's like I've held off. Like I didn't want to get involved in the Catholic Esquire and Stephen Cox and Michael Matt thing. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And then
no
Michael
offense to anyone
Matt
involved.
Had to defend Lila Rose, didn't you? There's never a time I'm going to be able to be quiet about that. I'm sorry.
Yes, he did rant for a whole hour after Eric texted him, didn't he?
That was a fun show too.
It was fun.
The religious scene in America since the late 60s, the Roman Catholic Church, which from 1890 until 1960 was on an ascendancy that if it had maintained itself, we would be a Roman Catholic nation. When John F. Kennedy was running for president, he was very concerned. The whole nation was concerned about this ascendant Catholicism. There were 6 million students in Roman Catholic schools in 1955. That is an incredible number. Since that time, due to an over-Americanization and a loss of salt in the Roman Catholic Church, the church has declined radically. For decades, for every one new person becoming Catholic, 6 would leave the church. That's a terrible equation. Today, the Roman Catholic school system has 1.5 million kids in it. That's a 75% reduction in America.
While the population is like almost doubled or something like that.
Okay,
it's
so
not tripled.
Now, just think if the council never happens, Catholic education.
Are you sure it wasn't more like? We sure it wasn't more like 270,000
at most, Father. I don't know what you're talking about.
6 million seems a little high. Was there enough desks for 6 million?
That seems a little high. All right, we're gonna get in trouble for this. Go on.
Yeah.
All right. Can you imagine if the Catholic school system had actually remained intact and not diverged into this ecumenical cesspool that it is? The Land O'Lakes thing never happens, and we actually had the opportunity to indoctrinate those 6 million kids properly and give them a proper Catholic education. Do you know how many conversions? Because how many non-Catholics send their kids to Catholic schools, or even the kids, even if it was only Catholics, like how many Catholics we could have prepared to evangelize America? Like this whole nation would look different. And it all comes down to this issue. It really does. It all just comes down to this stuff. It's like it's men being afraid to say the truth. It is every pope since the council has this deep shame about talking about the truths of the faith. So they water everything down. Everything is just watered down Catholicism. And I'm sorry, but like like Tom was saying, like he loves Michael Matt. He's a little kooky, but he's like I have been watching Michael Matt for 15 years, 20 years. I mean, I've been watching Michael Matt forever. It's just, there's some things that just, you're missing the conversation here, Michael. And the thing is the talking past each other. Like I tried to reasonably respond to him and he just ignores me. So it's like, okay, we'll talk about it here. Because I would have appreciated a little back and forth and maybe like a him going, oh, maybe I'm missing something here. Maybe you guys can enlighten me to something I'm missing here. But no, it's this stubborn, I'm right always. I know everything. It comes from every corner of the Catholic sphere. Everybody gets buried in their position and they only want to be they're the only ones that are right. They're not willing to actually hear the other side of the argument. Michael Matt presented a straw man of the argument from the young guys that are reacting to this kind of stuff. And he defeated a straw man argument. It's like, cool. Yeah, I don't
even know if he really defeated that argument.
Well, I mean, what he said sounds like it's right, but it's just not. You're presenting. I'm always right though, Molly. I'm different. You're presenting.
You're different. Oh, you're very different.
You're presenting a case that doesn't exist to try and set it up and knock it down. Where the straw man, that's a straw man, and to steel man the argument, you have to go back to understanding how disordered our culture is. And I think men, especially the younger guys, are fed up with it, and they're just like, something's got to change. Like we're sick of it. We're tired of it. We don't want to hear you women do this anymore.
And him setting up a straw man wasn't because he was arguing in bad faith. It was because he just really doesn't understand it. He's out of touch with the subject.
Right. So that's why he's out of touch with this argument, because he's not talking to the guys dealing with this. He's not understanding where people's animosity on this issue comes from. And it's because the women who tend to make a name for themselves in this space all present this feminist girl boss Catholicism, and it's dangerous. It's wicked. It's not good. They're telling women to wait until they're 30 to go get their degree and go take care of themselves and and then they wait and it's devastating to these young women. It really is. It's devastating to them because they're waiting until they're 30 and then they have a couple of years to have kids. Then they're dealing with fertility issues. And like Lila played a video today of all these women who are over 30 aching because they're lonely and they don't have somebody. Now, I want to be clear, like anybody in that position, my heart goes out to, because loneliness is like soul crushing to be alone. Like it's not a day that goes by I don't thank God that I have my wife and kids, because I have people who I love and that love me. So anybody
if I'm in my house for like 6 hours by myself,
yeah, it's kind of, you feel weird, right?
Yeah,
it's like
really
so anybody that is lonely and hasn't found somebody yet, I don't want to rag on you. It's just our culture has sold you a bill of goods that is just trash. It's like, go to college, telling women to go get degrees and become bosses and go start your own thing and travel the world and all this crap. And it's like, I'm sorry, but wrapped up in that is what Lila did. Lila went and since she was 15 years old, she's a pro-life warrior. And it's like, you know what? Maybe we should just get women out of the pro-life leading the pro-life movement. Maybe they can let men take the lead on it and they can come assist us and be our helpmate.
They can pray on the sidewalk.
Be our helpmate. Let men go back to controlling it so that we get away from this idea that women hold no responsibility in abortion. It's only the doctors who are responsible. It's like, if we don't tell women that what they're doing, they'll be held to account for it. They don't, like this constant excusing for this. Oh, no, you're just a victim. You're just a victim of the culture that told you that it was just a clump of cells. No, you're not. I'm sorry, but there's not a woman in the world who goes and has that procedure done who doesn't understand they are killing their own child.
Yeah.
And to keep excusing it like that and pretending they're victims. Now, there are plenty of cases where the man pressures the woman into like that's disgusting. And those men should be held to account and they should be prosecuted like that. But each case needs to be weighed individually. And if it's the man forcing a woman to do it, then he's the one responsible. But most women getting this procedure done are using it as a form of birth control.
Yeah, when someone kills another person, we don't before arresting them go, do they really know what they were doing? No, we arrest them, we charge them with the crime, and then their culpability, their ability to understand right and wrong, whether or not they were forced to do it, all that comes out in the legal process.
Yeah, in the legal process. And you get to the root of it. And if a woman was forced into it, then obviously she's got less culpability. It's just this issue on men and women is one that really needs to be talked about. It needs to be figured out, and we have to get to the root of it. So, all right, we're going to go over to locals. I do want to talk about the women veiling thing, if we could get to that. Let me see. Rob and I have some exciting news of stuff we did behind the scenes.
It's not that exciting.
Oh, for me it is. I'm very excited about it.
Oh,
I don't know.
I know why.
It feels very official, and
it does feel official. Yeah,
it just kind of feels like a real thing now. And
are you going to get cards made?
Maybe. All right, we're going to talk over there. There was so I know you guys probably a little sick of the conversation, but there was a segment of that Nick Fuentes interview where it sounded like it was an Avoiding Babylon episode where he talks about astrology. There was like 15
minutes. Astrology.
It sounds like we'll go through that, and because it really sounds like an Avoiding Babylon episode. It's really interesting how this conversation. He sounds almost like Peugeot. It's like it has nothing to do with the Jews or anything.
He talks like Peugeot. He doesn't sound like Peugeot.
Correct. Yeah, but the ideas that he's getting at are. So it was, maybe we'll play that clip and we'll just talk. I got some things I want to ask you. Good luck at Mass and Michael Matheson.
Thanks, Andrew.
He's just going to ignore you and pretend he doesn't know you like he always does.
I hope so this time. Last time I literally hit my 6-year-old literally handed him money. He was sitting on my lap. Well, whatever.
All right, let's go over to locals.
Hold on. The EMJ interview is December 4th.
December 4th. And then we also have Daniel O'Connor coming up.
Did you schedule Daniel?
Yeah. Well, he's going to pick a date. He said mid-December. So because that documentary came out, the disclosure or something like
we might want to be careful because the people who did that documentary are already sending cease and desist to almost any podcast that talks about it.
That's interesting. Well, Daniel O'Connor, he did a documentary that's coming out also. Oh, it's called The Age of Disclosure, and he did a documentary called The Age of Deception. So we're going to get him on to talk to him. My brother, the boiler's done. He's just trying to pick a car out. He hasn't picked the car out. Once he picks the car out, that's when we're going to get him on. But he's got all the money. He's just trying to find a good car. So once he does that, we'll get him on.
We are not doing a show Thursday, right?
No show Thursday for Thanksgiving.
Advent starts Sunday. When I get home from traveling on Sunday night, I hope to do, it will be probably late Sunday night. I'll start the Advent series from Divine Intimacy, but the rest of those shows will probably be in the morning. Yeah. So Sunday night will be the first one, but then it'll be in the morning for the rest of the episodes.
What is this about? What does this mean? I'm not sure.
No idea. Do we have any other announcements? I don't think so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're talking about my brother. Yeah. My brother, yeah. Everything's done. Everything's good. Everything's working and well. Contracts.
Did he get the lien waivers though?
Do not make the final payment until he gets lien waivers.
So when you have work done on your house, the contractor can put a lien.
No, this didn't happen. Everything's done. Yeah, everything is done. There's nothing like that on it. Everything's fine. But yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, all right, let's go to the other side because I want to talk about some stuff. I got personal stories. I was thinking of some old school stories. We could tell.
Old school stories. Interesting. Okay,
Oh,
we're going
Rob's
to
gonna
local.
say Rob's. Oh no,
No,
are we still on YouTube? Rob's gonna say the N word. Rob's gonna say the N word on locals. Join us.
What N word?
I told everybody you're gonna say the N word.